So as a games developer, an animator, you most likely will actually have to suit up and wear a mocap suit at some point to capture motion capture. And most likely it's going to go into the game, and most likely you're going to clean it up yourself as an animator, and it's going to look fantastic. And there's something special about you seeing yourself in a game as a different character, as a creature perhaps, and you know that it was you. Like that motion capture, it was all you, and you cleaned it up and you put it in game, and nobody knows except for you and a few people that actually capture that mocap. Now, to me, that moment is really magical. And in this video, I want to talk about the first time that I actually had that pleasure of suiting up and capturing mocap, because there's a lot that you can learn from it. And the best thing about it is I have footage to prove it and to show you here, because at some point I was about to break myself into two because I performed the stunt a little too hard, but it was all fun and games. So without further ado, let's get to it. Hey everybody, I hope you're doing well. And before I go any further, I want to say that if this motion capture subject interests you or you want to learn more about it, I have a course called Motion Capture for Games that I've put my 20+ years experience in this course, so you know exactly how to capture, how to clean it up, what the pros do, and how to direct motion capture, and much, much more. If you're interested, make sure you check the link down below with more information on the website. Now, let's get back into the video. Okay, so let me start from the beginning. And I think this was about 2009, 2010. And there was a game that we wanted to create at a company called Eurocom. That was the first company that gave me a job as an animator. And I actually had to basically animate for them. I started as a junior, and the project that they had available at the time was this game called GoldenEye. Now, you're thinking about the OG GoldenEye most likely, but this was actually a reboot for the Nintendo Wii. Now, there was a point where we actually had the main player animations kind of sorted, and Daniel Craig was scanned and he was in the game and he looked the part. Now, what we didn't have very much of was soldiers, because in GoldenEye, if you played it before, then there's lots of soldiers in trucks and in different places that need to actually, be shot at, basically. So we needed more soldiers. So this is what happens in the games industry. As you are working in a project, especially studios like Eurocom in that time, even though Eurocom is no longer around, you have your own mocap studio. So when you have your own mocap studio, there is these things called pickups. So you have the main mocap shoot, and then you have pickups, which is very much like, oh, we forgot about something, or we need this other thing, design change something, and we need to actually do filler content here. And that is basically what a pickup is. So we needed to actually do a lot of pickups and shoots for the soldiers of the game. They didn't have a lot of actors, and we had to actually gather quite a few, so enter the animators. So this studio was used to basically, whenever something was not super crucial or nothing super specific, all the animators would suit up and then shoot mocap. Now, there was 2 days specifically that actually were given to us for this, and this was arguably the most fun day that I had shooting mocap, and maybe one of the funniest days that I had in the games industry, because the setup for the game was very much that they needed soldiers in vehicles, not only going into a specific place, but also coming out of the vehicle in different ways, and set pieces that they are called. So what happens is that you shoot these things, and normally you shoot them in different takes of characters either in the vehicle, very much like, playing as if you're actually driving or whatever, or then you actually like on the window like this. And these things then go into game, get cleaned up, and eventually will basically make it look really good in game, right? And on day one was actually the easiest day, where we have a small Jeep kind of truck, and we decided to actually kind of like, shoot it as if you are coming out from different scenarios. Now, as with the mocap shoot kind of like goes along, you start kind of changing how you want to perceive or do certain things, because you know what the basic motion capture you need in order to put in the game, because there has been a lot of planning previously. But as the mocap shoot kind of goes over, you start getting more alternative takes of the same action, because a soldier might come out a specific way, but what if another soldier wants to come out from the same door? Now we need another variation of the animation. What about if he comes out from the back door? Now we need another variation of the animation. Now we enjoyed a lot that first day with the Jeep, came back absolutely exhausted, and we had to do a second day, and this time it was in a bigger truck, a bigger military truck. And the thing that we had to do most of the time, it was to jump out of the back of that truck to the floor, to mats, and then run around the truck to basically be ready for the player. And this was probably one of the most exhausting days in my life, because you don't really feel it at the time, but the fact that you have to bounce off the legs and do the same movements over and over and over again, because sometimes you make mistakes. Now let's do another take. These things need to change. Do another take. Now let's do another take. And you just have to keep on going like this. And we did an incredible amount of takes in that day. And obviously we are all young, all excited, so we did it. But during the day we had a lot of fun. And because we are all boys and because we're all young and naive, it then becomes a little bit of a competition. And at some point in time, I actually jumped so hard that like my back just bent over and everybody just had a gasp of like, is he fine? It was fine. But then looking at the footage from the outside, I understood exactly why everybody was so afraid. But it was at that point that we kind of finished the shoot, because we're going a little bit too far. But it was 100% amazing. After saying all that, what did I learn from this experience as my very first time shooting mocap that I can share with you for when you do your own first mocap shoot? First, make sure that you actually are a sponge on that mocap volume in that studio, so you learn as much as possible. And shout out to the motion capture engineer, Richard, that basically helped us a ton, or helped me a ton, to learn more about how to set up a mocap studio, how to set up the cameras, what happens with the suits, how does it work exactly with the little balls everywhere, the reflective markers. And that it became something that became crucial for me later on as I became a director, and I'll tell you why in a second. The second thing is definitely being willing to shoot your own mocap. The thing is, because you are doing it or you are directing it, you have a lot of control over what gets put in game. And especially if you are an animator, you have a specific idea, a junior or a mid-level, and then you actually have, I don't know, a person going up a ladder, for example, right? If you do it, because you're already thinking about how you're going to clean up that data, you're already thinking about how the ladder looks, and because you've already seen it, you already animated, you already blocked it out, you can do it in a way that makes sense to you, that actually works really well, as long as it follows the design, which ends up being much better. Also, this ultimately all becomes practice for you to, when you become a lead, when you become a director, and when you start directing your own shoots, you will be able to actually pick up on all this experience of shooting a bunch of mocap yourself, of learning how mocap is actually captured with software and hardware and all these other things. And also what it takes for physically for an actor to actually be resilient. So the way that was structured was important for me as a reference, because it became a thing of like, just make sure that you don't max out things. You either do a little bit of max and then a little bit of relax, so you can then have a second day, and on that second day maybe you have a bit more chill day and you take it a little easy, and on the last day then you max it out and you make sure that everything is cool. Now, this, once again, valuable lessons for you as a director. And another thing that I've learned as well through that experience is how to direct talent, because you know physically what you need to be a mocap actor, which is actually a professional out there. And because you know what is needed to be a mocap actor, you now know how to direct them, because a lot of mocap actors, what they don't understand is exactly how the game is being made. They get into a volume and they are a random person like you and me, and then they go, and then most directors go, okay, so now walk. And they kind of go, where am I walking? How am I walking? Is it raining? Is it snowing? There's no sense of context. And having context in mocap shoots helps you a ton. So if you know that you are an old person walking to a certain place because you missed your son, you are sad, it's kind of cold, that all gives context to the actor to be like, okay, now I understand where I'm at the moment, and then you can do the action. Those things are really important for you to shoot and to be be eventually a good lead, a good director, because it gives you context. And it all starts with the very first mocap shoot. Make sure you suit up, make sure you actually get some like miles, motion capture miles under you, because they will help you a ton and you'll have a lot of fun, especially initially, because it's gonna feel like something completely different, and you also feel a massive amount of respect for all the mocap actors out there. All right, so that's all I had for you guys, and I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I hope you took a lot from it. And if you did, comment down below and let me know what you've learned. And if you like this video, you know what to do. And until the next one, stay well, stay safe. Peace.
Was that good or what? That was awesome. I was scared the crap out. That was cool. We need to stop now.
If you enjoyed the video or found it helpful, go ahead and hit the like button. If you super enjoyed it, leave a super thanks. It's like leaving a little tip and it directly supports the channel. If you haven't already, subscribe and turn on post notifications so you can continue to see my videos and get your weekly dose of better.